Pleased to be joined by the disbanded Birdie Bandits. How we doing, guys?
Doing good, Parker. How are
What's
you?
up, Parker?
We're
Not
good,
too
buddy.
bad. Talk a little bit about last year's PGA Pro Golf season, a little bit of predictions for next year. Yeah, I mean, last year was a good year. Scotty kind of dominated things. What were y'all's main takeaways from the pro golf season last year? I'm not a huge Scotty guy, so to me, could have been a better year, more exciting, I think. Start with you, Matt.
Not a good person to start with. Probably the worst person you could start with. All right, no.
Uh,
Parker, edit this part out. But what should I say?
Say whatever you want. I mean, what did you think? Scotty was at a good year. I mean, good fun to watch. I mean, he won 9 times. A lot of those tournaments were boring. I mean, did you watch a lot of the weekend tournaments last year?
Oh my God, yeah, and so many clutch, chips and putts. Kid was unbelievable. It's hard to see him be successful with that crazy swing he's got, and he's so accurate. It's unreal.
It looks like he's falling over. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know how he stays up and then he wiggles his feet at the end and he stays and he just peers it. It doesn't make sense.
You're all right over there, Zach?
Oh, I'm dropping a howitzer, boys.
Great start to the pod. All right, well, Tyler, what'd you think of Scotty last year?
I mean, I like Scheffler as a guy. I mean, high character, class act, but his golf is a little boring for sure. And yeah, the golf season last year, a lot of anticlimactic finishes. The majors weren't very good. I mean, hopefully, hopefully there's a little bit more level playing field this year. I mean, there's so many great players in the world that, I know Scotty's kind of on another level right now, but
Kinda.
hopefully somebody could dethrone him.
I think so. The two majors that were good, there was a common theme. My guy Bryson.
Yeah,
Uh,
the PGA was good. The PGA, yeah, you're right. The U.S. Open was good too.
was
The
was
U.S.
that a
Open.
was that a Bryson win or a Rory loss though?
Bryson win. I mean, he stole it. Roy, he just sucks. Roy sucks. I think Bryson won it from him.
You're not a
That up
good
and down
person
was
to ask
insane.
about Rory or Scotty. You're very
I,
biased.
I just Rory gets too much love in the media. Everybody's been hyping him up. They've been saying he's going to win his fifth major for 11 years, and I don't think he's going to win another major. Definitely not a green jacket.
He's
So
he's got the
not
most
not
majors
really.
in the last or the most wins in the last 10 years, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Gotta give him credit,
but
Parker. You
but Brooks
gotta give
has.
him
But
credit.
you're remembered by your legacy. Brooks has more majors though.
Brooks doesn't count.
I think Rory's got a better legacy than Brooks.
Well, still to be determined. If Brooks ends up with 7, 8 majors, then it could be different. What do you think,
It's
Zach?
On what, particularly?
I don't know. Anything? Did you watch a lot of golf last year?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I think when it comes to Scotty, I think you can't undermine his dominance this past year. I think, it might be boring golf, but hey, you play to win the game. And it might not be the most exciting, for us fans. But I think overall, Scotty Scheffler is kind of on just a different level this year.
Yeah, would you rather
Right
would you
now,
rather be would you rather be a boring winner or an exciting loser?
that's exactly the question there.
That's a good
The
point.
question I've had. And I think when it comes to Scotty, as a golf fan, like I said, he's not the most, exciting to watch, but you got to respect the dominance and the performance he put out this year. I mean, the guy I felt like was, on top of the world. It was hard for anyone to contend with him, whether it was a major or just kind of your regular average old tournament. I think when he steps onto the golf course, all the other golfers knew that, hey, we're in a different ball game with this guy. And it just kind of felt like he coasted to a lot of victories. And you can't knock him when he's going low in the early rounds, day 1, day 2, and he kind of breezes through days 3 and 4, or the tournaments when he kind of just made that push in those late days and really kind of surged with 8 under rounds, 9 under rounds. It's hard to
Yeah.
contend with that no matter how good you are. So You got to respect his dominance this year, and I think he's going into this year as a big favorite to win most of these majors, if not all of them. So
Most oh wow,
I
that's
think
a
you got to
bold.
put him up there. He's going to be
That's
the betting favorite. He's going to be
Oh
the
yeah,
betting
I mean
favorite.
he was in my long history of sports betting, he was the first golfer I've ever seen with negative odds to win a golf tournament.
Tyler's
So
extensive history of sports betting.
correct, correct. I mean his tee degree game. I mean it was arguably the second best since Tiger Woods' 2000 season. I mean look at the strokes gained
Yep.
statistics.
Well, let me
It's
ask you guys
unbelievable.
let me ask you guys a question. Who was the most exciting golfer to watch last year?
I mean, I'll start in and chime in. It's hard to not say, and you're talking about pure excitement. I mean, the guy's dialed it back some, but Bryson's a guy you
Bryson.
gotta love to watch. I mean, he's
Bryce, yeah.
exciting for what he does. I mean, I know he's kind of dialed back the long drive aspect of it and just kind of gripping it and ripping it, but he hits it plenty far as it
He's
is. He's exciting.
Oh,
His
crushing
social
it.
media,
he's an
uh,
entertainer.
he is. I mean, his social media following and what he does in YouTube content and everything else. I think you grow to like a guy like that, and you tend to root for him. And he's there for the crowd. He's there for the fans. He's a fans, golfer. As a fan, you love to watch a guy like that play. He's exciting. He interacts. I think he's one of the more exciting guys on tour.
And what a turnaround he made. I mean, he went from one of the most hated golfers to one of the most highly regarded golfers in the world
For
Exactly.
sure.
over the last year. And my only wonder is if he's going to is he going to continue the YouTube stuff through all of this year, and like is that going to take his focus away
I,
from the
I
tournaments
don't
he
think I
plays?
don't think it takes a lot of focus. He's got videographers, editors. He's not doing anything really that
He's just
different
playing and
how
talking.
he normally do. He's just playing and talking. He's still practicing a lot. I don't think it takes a lot of focus from what he's doing.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point.
I
Who else?
think for me, Jordan Spieth is my most entertaining golfer to watch. I mean, he is
Why do you say that?
because he can make a birdie or an eagle from anywhere. I mean, he's not the most accurate player. He does a lot of electric stuff. I mean, yeah, he hasn't been the same player. He hasn't been the same player over the last 2 or 3 years. But he had wrist surgery. I'm actually expecting a pretty big bounce back out of Spieth this year. I think he's going to have a turnaround season. But he's just one of those guys that you never count him out. I mean, he could score from anywhere. He hit some crazy shots. So I think he's a fun one to watch.
Yeah, his
A
And I
lot of
ball
think
play is
interactions
unbelievable.
with
I'm going to
Greller too, and I
piggyback
like
on
that.
what Tyler said there. And I think, if being an unbiased golf fan with guys, I mean, over, the years, I think Jordan has been one of the most exciting golfers, especially when he was kind of at his peak. I mean, the guy
Yeah.
was one of the most fun players to watch when he was on his run. I mean, the guy was exciting. He was pulling shots and putts and everything kind of really out of the woodworks to where he was in a dominant little stretch there. And I think he was more of a fun, for the fans opposed to maybe what Scotty was doing last year.
I could see him winning like a regular event or two. He hasn't been in deep contention in a major in 7 years. I think. I don't know if I think his major run, like Rory's, is, in my opinion, is over. I could see him winning
That
like.
wasn't the question here though. The question was
Who,
most exciting golfer on tour.
oh, okay, all right. Well, majors really get me excited. Majors. I'm not following a crazy amount of regular tour events. Maybe the weekends of the big ones, but the majors are the ones that I get juiced up for. I'm freaking locked in. So, I mean, that was kind of the way I'm taking that question.
Yeah, and to be fair, you did say that you thought he was going to make a big turnaround, Tyler, and he was going to be in contention in a lot of these tournaments. So
I do. I think he's in store for a comeback year.
I think that's
Like I
fair.
said, he had
I guess
wrist surgery this off season, so I know that's been nagging him for a year or so, and he's just exciting to watch. But I
yeah.
think
I mean,
Seth Nagala is exciting too.
Ah,
He
you
makes
brought
a
up the
lot of
side,
birdies. He makes a lot of birdies. He makes a lot of bogeys.
and
we
he
gotta
goes into Sunday leading in a lot of tournaments, man. And we've talked about it more than anybody about how often he chokes. And I think if he turns that around and he could win on Sunday, ooh, if he could
I
perform on
think
Sunday, he's gonna win some.
I got a question for everybody here.
All right.
Who do we think has the best chance, a possibility of winning their first major this year? Whether you want to call it the Masters, PGA, the Open, what guy who hasn't won a major championship do you feel the best about winning a major championship this year?
Well, we can just kind of start with everybody's Masters prediction because my guy, he hasn't won a major. Who I wrote down that I think is going to win the Masters is Ludwig Aberg.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's who I think is going to win the Masters. He was runner-up last year. He's, I think he's game's really primed for majors. I think he's had two top five. He's run up there and another top five. So I think he's going to have a big year in the majors and may as well start with the Masters.
Yeah, I think you guys know who I'm going to go with for the Masters. I'm going to go with my gut here, and I'm going to go with Sahith Theegala. I see him winning. I don't know what it is. What is the word that I'm looking for? A premonition. I think he's going to win.
Okay. All right. How about you, Tyler?
I think Colin Morikawa finally gets the Masters done.
It's a good one.
He didn't win this past year, but he had probably the best ball striking year of his career. He had the most top five finishes. He's always performed well at Augusta. I think Colin Morikawa, Masters champion.
Tyler,
But
let's
I
make a
like
little.
the
Let's make a little.
I can
I
see
like
that.
the Obear pick. I do like him.
Yeah, I actually am going to have to agree with Ty. That was kind of my guy who I was thinking. Colin Morikawa, his irons are phenomenal. I mean, that's a course there at Augusta where great iron play can really lead you to a victory. One of the top ball strikers on tour. I think he's kind of poised and ready to make that next push. And like Tyler said, he's always been in contention, plays that golf course well. That would probably be my favorite as well. One of my underdog guys I think can pull through at the Masters this year.
I do like that. They always talk about putting at Augusta. I don't think that you have to putt as well as they say. Scotty's won it, 2 of the last 3 years, and he's not a great putter, and Colin's not either. So if he can ball strike as well, way through that, I kind of like that.
Yep.
Cool. Well, the PGA's at Quail Hollow in Charlotte. So my guy for that, it's a kind of a bomber score. So I'm going to go Bryson gets his first PGA and his third major. That's what I'm thinking.
I really went out on a limb there.
I mean, you love the guy, you may as well rep him. So I think that's his first PGA and 3/4 the way. No, that wouldn't be 3/4 the way. That'd be halfway to the Grand Slam. So that'd be big. I'll probably be there watching. So it's only like 3 hours from us. So I'll be up there.
Scotty's going to win it.
Scotty, okay.
100%. The dude's unbelievable.
I mean,
He's hard to beat, man.
But that course, though, if you carry it like 320, 330, you can carry almost all the fairway bunkers. That's why Rory plays so well there. Scotty's kind of like a 300 carry. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to bet against Scotty, but what do you think, Tyler?
It's a really good point.
I mean, that course just fits Rory. I mean, he's won there, 3 times?
I think so.
You say it's a driver's paradise. I mean, he's the best driver of the golf ball in on the tour. So, I mean, I think Rory for sure. I think Aubert's a good fit there too. He hits it really high, and pretty long. So, I think if I had to pick right now, I would probably lean Rory there though.
Okay. Zach, before we get your pick, let's hear what happened to you what you did last time you were up there at the PGA.
All right, so I hope this doesn't incriminate me. I'm sorry to the Charlotte Police Department for everything I did last time I was up there at the PGA. But, we were out there on the, last day. Liquor gets involved, alcohol gets involved, and people make not the best decisions.
Right.
I was walking across the ninth green there, and so happened to maybe look down and saw a cup, and there's a chance that maybe that cup came back home with me. I won't say one way or another if it did or did not.
Can't confirm, nor did I.
But I will say that cup may or may not be in that green anymore. But if I had to say, in my prediction here, now, kind of relating to, that time, my heart wants to go with a guy who had a really down year last year, and that's Justin Thomas. He has played well there in the past, obviously has won, but I think it's going to be hard to go against anyone other than Xander Schauffele. I mean, he came in second at the Wells Fargo. The guy's coming off of a great year. You know, he's played that course well, shooting a 15 under at the Wells Fargo. I think, you know, coming off the year he had, I think, you know, in my opinion, he's second to Scotty off the best year last year.
Oh, absolutely.
He's playing a phenomenal golf coming off the season he did. I would have to say my prediction, I mean, at Quail Hollow, of course, that he's played well in the past. And coming off the form he was on last year, I think he's got to be one of those favorites to win this year and to take that PGA in Quail Hollow.
I like that pick. I was actually have him wrote down. We can move on towards the U.S. Open. It's at Oakmont. He was my guy, Xander. I think he gets his third major and would be third leg of the Grand Slam at Oakmont this year. There's been a lot of talk in the last 5-10 years of who's going to be the next to get the Grand Slam. Phil Mickelson, Rory, Jordan. I mean, maybe someone fresh and new like a Xander, John Rahm in the next couple of years comes in and steals it from those guys. I'm going Xander at Oakmont. What do you think, Matt?
I think Xander's a good pick. I'm trying to think who else would be in contention on that day. I mean, it's hard to go against Bryson after what he did last year. I think I'm going to go with Bryson. I think I'm going to choose him for the win. I think he really performed last year, and I think he's going to do it again this year.
Okay, back to back. I like that. What about you, T?
I want to say can't play gets it done,
Can't
but
play.
I just can't. I can't go with him. So I'm going to go with a guy that you're probably not going to like. It's kind of a sleeper pick here for the U.S. Open. Hideki Matsuyama.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, yeah, he's won a major before. He's been there, so I don't hate it. What's your thoughts with him?
He plays well on tough courses. He's always in contention at the Open. He was playing really good golf this fall before he got hurt, and just kind of, I think that course kind of suits him.
Well, I didn't even hear he got hurt. What happened?
He hurt his back, I believe.
He always struggles with injuries, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. But I think Cantlay maybe gets it done too. I can see Cantlay finally breaking through. So I would say Cantlay or Matsuyama, the U.S. Open.
Okay.
Historically, Oakmont too. It's a lot of first-time winners if you go back and look.
I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I know a couple times it's been over par. Like one year it was +7-1 out there. So I like to see some carnage.
Was it Justin Rose last time he won there, or was that Marion?
Dustin won in 16,
right. DJ,
and then Cabrera won in 07. I think 07 it was 7 over par. Like I get tired of seeing 20, 25 under win every week. So there's some carnage in there.
Guys are so good now. If the weather's not that bad, no wind or anything, it'll be around even.
Yeah. What do you think, Zach? Who are you going for there?
This is a tough one for me, okay? Because my heart, there's one guy on tour that I've always rooted for. And, you know, I want him to break through here. And I'm going to go on a limb here. And I'm going to go with my underdog and Tony Finau.
Ooh. Okay.
Tony Finau, I think, is poised and due for a big year this year. I'm going to put it on record right now. Tony Finau has a big year this year. I think the course suits him well. You know, I think he really improved in different areas last year. He was, you know, I don't know. I feel like Tony. He's, you know, where Matt's got his, you know, Sahith view. I think that I transfer that into a Tony view this year.
You met him, right? Or took a picture with him?
I mean, I met him in tournaments along with a bunch of other golfers. I think he's one of those guys that I've kind of seen over the years that when he first had his first year on tour, he's just a really good with the fans. He's very interactive. Will stop and talk to you for a little bit of time. One of those guys that you can't help but to root for. So I think in that regard, like, you know, I think I'm pulling for Tony for the U.S. That's just where my heart lies. So I'm going to lay with Tony on this. He's my underdog, just like Matt Heath. He's kind of mine this year.
I dig it. I dig it. I like Tony as well. Well, cool. The British is at Royal Portrush. Xander will be defending. I'm going to go. I guess this is the first live guy. I'm going to throw out. I think John Rahm gets back in the major saddle. His year last year wasn't bad. He top 10 in every live event. He didn't play great in the majors. He was hurt a little bit. I think it was like a foot thing. So he started round in really good form at the end of last year. I think he's going to have a big kind of a bounce back year from last year and get another major. That'd be his third. It's in Ireland. It's a pretty. I think the last there was 19. Shane Lowry was kind of a sleeper. He won by like 6. So I just really hope the majors are close and exciting. Like if it's blowouts, I'm not that tuned in.
It is Rory's home course, isn't it?
I think he played there a lot. I don't know if it's like his home course, but I think he played there a lot.
I think Rory's going to win.
Okay.
Shot a 61 there as a teenager. I think the Irishman's going to pull it off.
Okay. All right. So he's going to get 2 mates. Didn't you have him at the PGA? Or that was Tyler who had the.
I did not have him at.
You did not have him. All right. Well, a couple of Rory takes out there. Well, I don't necessarily agree with it, but can't argue with his record. Tyler, you there? It looks like you blacked out, but.
Yeah, I'm going with the Scotsman, Bobby McIntyre, Myrtle Beach Classic winner. He's gonna win the Open.
That is not accurate. I think he played well.
That's right.
He didn't win it though.
He played in it.
He did.
Chris Gotterup won the Myrtle Beach Classic.
Yep.
But
Yep.
Bobby McIntyre did play in it, and he played really good golf last year. He won the Scottish Open.
Where he got. Sorry, go ahead.
He gets it done. No, I think he takes home the Open Championship this year. Dark horse for me, Russell Henley, low ball hitter, playing some really good golf. I can see him being in contention as well.
What do we think about Graham McDowell?
I think he was 16 years ago.
I don't think he's in it. He's not even going to be in it.
I think he's in it, and I think he's going to win. if Gary Player doesn't perform well.
He's going to be in a nursing home by then.
I thought he might have already been in one, to be honest.
He just played in the PNC. By the way, I meant to talk about our favorite events of last year. I think, honestly, my second favorite event of last year was just like last weekend, the PNC. I was freaking locked in. Tiger and Charlie making that hole in one. Oh, we'll get back to that. I just wanted to throw out that I was freaking locked in for the PNC last weekend. But Zach, who you got for the Open?
Oh man, that's a tough one for me. I always got to root for Shane. Shane's a great Open player. I mean, the guy plays in tough conditions. He's a great tough condition player. I mean, that's what you expect at the Open. You expect rain, you expect wind, you expect the conditions to be really tough out there. And he's one of the best guys on tour in terms of playing through tough conditions. But I think if I really had to go out and say one guy who can pierce the wind with his ball, I have to say Bryson. The Open's a wide open. The Open tends to be a wide open links golf course. I think he's a guy who can really push the ball through wind, and I think he's got a really good chance at securing an Open.
Cool. I'd love to see it. Always love to see Bryson get one. So
we got a lot of Bryson up there. A lot of Bryson.
More Bryson than Scotty, surprisingly.
It's hard, It's hard not to root for the guy with all that he's doing for the game of golf, man. Like YouTube, just all of the things that he's doing. I think it's so hard to root against him.
That was another thing I wanted to touch on was his YouTube. His Trump video, 13 million views. That has almost close to as much combined views as all of the I looked up how many views the final round of the majors last year. It was like 15 or 16 million. Like his YouTube is insane. Like I don't know if it's the fast pace or the banter, but like same a final round of a tournament that wasn't a big event and a Bryson video dropped at the same time, I'm probably watching the Bryson video.
Definitely. 100%. I mean, it's the excitement, it's the banter, it's the just the whole experience, seeing people that he's playing with that you don't get to see often in those settings, like Trump. I think it's revolutionizing the game.
And I think to touch on that, what we talked about in terms of exciting players with Bryson being one of them, I think he's one of those guys that are on tour that people are going to tune in whether you love him or hate him. You either want to tune in to watch him
Mm-hmm.
fail or you want to tune in to watch him do well.
That's
One
a
way
good
or
point.
another, you want to watch him play. I mean, the stuff he does, whether you like him or not, is impressive. The way he can strike the ball, how far he can hit it. So I think he's just one of those polarizing figures in the game of golf that whether you love him or you hate him, you're going to watch him to see either root for him to win or root for him to fail. It's hard to not put him up there as one of the more exciting, more watchable golfers in today's game.
That's true. I mean, I don't know. Y'all probably aren't watching a whole lot of them on Live, but I'm still watching a little bit of Live. Let's get kind of y'all's Live PGA Tour takes. Do you think that they're gonna? I know they've been saying there's gonna be a merger for almost a year and a half, 2 years. Do y'all think they get together at some point this year? I think maybe towards the end of the year, some of the big Live guys will be able to play in a select few PGA Tour events that they won't. But I don't think there's going to be like a true merger where they're all back together. Like if Bryson wants to go play and I know Bay Hill's pretty soon, but like maybe honestly next year, I think some of the big guys will be able to pick and choose the PGA Tour events that they'd like to play in. What do y'all think?
Yeah,
I'm
I think everything for this year is pretty much already set. The schedule's out, signature
Yeah,
events are out. But I would
yeah.
say, by 2027, the latest, I would say that they're kind of all back as one entity.
That's a long time. They announced this merger like June of 23, so they're freaking slow to get together.
Yeah,
But
well, I could
I,
see next year maybe kind of being
maybe,
partial, and then
yeah,
2027 kind of finally fully integrated
I
together
bet
again.
you even if they do merge, I'd bet you that there will be some sort of portion of Live that will still remain, and that
yeah,
they'll have some form of that still existing, with the main, like the center of it kind of merging with the PGA. But I don't know.
I think
I
so.
don't know what that would look
Yeah,
like, but
I think so. They need to get back together. It's like the viewership non-majors are just crap. So what do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was something that was inevitable. I think when you started having that split and the PGA started losing the quality of golfers that they were. I mean, you're talking Cam Smith, Dustin, you have John Rahm, a lot of really high end golfers that left the tour to join the Live. It felt like at that point it was kind of inevitable that they were going to have to come to some sort of agreement, some sort of
Yeah,
combination between the two to make it work. Golf, as we all know, is a sport that, it doesn't get that recognition that some other sports do in the United States. And I think when you divide that, when you're trying to grow, it doesn't really help growing the game. And I think that, more eyes might be able to watch it in different areas, but I think ultimately you're going to have top level players playing in the same tournaments to produce a quality level, show for us to watch. When you're not having everyone in one pool, you kind of have those questions of, well, is he really the best or is he really the best? They're not playing against, each other in certain tournaments. So I think a merger was kind of something that they were going to need to come to a conclusion. It was kind of inevitable.
right.
But, whatever your bias is on how you feel about the Live, I am glad that we're starting to come to some kind of agreement to get the same guys back in the same tournaments.
No doubt. Cool. Well, let's just kind of touch on FedEx Cup and maybe a little bit of Ryder Cup predictions on that. And appreciate y'all hanging out for a little bit. So, FedEx Cup, does anyone think that Scotty's not going to win the FedEx Cup again? I mean, he's probably going to win 4 or 5 plus tournaments, non-majors. I didn't have him win a major. I know a few of y'all did, but I think he wins the FedEx Cup again. He's going to be starting 10 under par. Next place is I don't like that format. It's 7 under. So I'm thinking Scotty picks off another FedEx Cup pretty easily. It was pretty boring last year. I didn't watch much, but I think he's going to win it again. Anyone saying no? No, no, Scotty.
I mean,
It,
it's tough to bet against them. It's definitely tough to bet against them.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. He's got to be the betting favorite. I mean, he's right now on tour. I think the best player. I think he's got to be the betting favorite. I think there's some underdogs, or some guys a little under him that you can, you know, feel like have a chance, such as Xander.
Xander,
Coming off the
yeah.
year he has. I think you got to, consider him as having a chance that he could
I
win
think
a
Rory's got a
crazy.
chance.
There's
Rory.
there's like five guys will have a chance. If you're not like 500-600 par starting that, you're 10 back, you got no chance. So yeah, it's like those three: Scotty, Xander, Rory, maybe a couple others. I think.
I think it also too depends if how many tournaments certain guys are going to play in. You know what I mean? I think that's also a big thing. I mean, you have injuries that come up, different things like that determine a year. And if guys are playing in every tournament they can, or if guys are dealing with injuries. But I think you got to leave Scotty as the favorite to win the FedEx.
I like that. Matt, same.
Scotty.
Scotty.
Done.
All right.
Done. Scotty.
I hear it. Cool. Well, the Ryder Cup's at Bethpage, freaking like $1,000 tickets, U.S. versus Europe. Seems like Europe's had the upper hand the last 30 years, but home course, home field, we've doing all right the last few. I think I'm going to say USA picks this one off the Ryder Cup. Should be a close one, and a close one.
Yeah, I mean, I think they play a lot better at home, and the European team is really kind of a lot of their better players are getting up there in age. I mean, they've got some young blood and the Hoygaard twins and Aberg, but besides that, who's the next generation of European players that are going to take that team over the top? I mean, the U.S. just keeps firing out great talent after great talent. So, Bethpage, long, rough, crowd's going to be going crazy. We saw what happened with Sergio at Bethpage, so the heckling's going to be crazy, and I think I like the U.S.
That it's going to be uncanny what goes on there. I mean, someone might like die, like something crazy is going to happen, but it should be fun. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree more with both of you guys. So I don't have too much to add.
I mean, for one, I'm going to piggyback and say I hope no one dies. Nothing crazy. So I'll start with that.
That makes one of us.
As we know, Ryder hasn't been as fruitful as the Presidents has been for Team USA. I think this year, though, I kind of agree with Tyler. I think that the European teams kind of their talent isn't quite what it used to be. The names and the quality of talent you're seeing on that team as it's been in years past. I think if this year the U.S. Has probably the better chance, and us being guys from the U.S., I think we're all rooting for Team USA to take it home. But if there's a year it's at home at Bethpage, I mean, I think you have this might be the best chance to do it right now.
USA,
Yeah.
USA,
USA. This seems like
you got the top three players in the world are all on the same team. Probably 8 out of the top 10 in the world rankings are U.S. I mean, really, they shouldn't lose. I mean, on paper, it's really a dominating roster. The rosters are not even close.
Yeah, and the home team always sets it up to their advantage. They're gonna make it as long as possible. I mean, they'll probably like thin out the rough just off the fairways. The greens will be fast as heck. So, yeah, that might be the event of the year. I mean, the crowds are gonna be insane. So, yeah, I think that's mainly what I had planned out to talk about, guys. Maybe we'll flash back real quick. I wanted to see everyone's favorite moment from this past year. My favorite moment was Bryson there getting up and down at the U.S. Open. I jumped off the couch. Like, that was insane. I mean, that was the moment that stood out to me. And my second moment, I just mentioned ago, was like Tiger and Charlie. But those were my top 2 moments of the year. I mean, freaking locked in. I was locked into both of them. What was your favorite moment, Matt?
I can't remember what hole it was on. Scotty Scheffler, who's chipping for eagle. What was that? He was wearing a gray vest. I can't remember where it was. Can anybody?
Was it the Memorial?
I do.
Was it a chip in or was it a wedge shot?
No, it was a
Rolled
chip
out.
in. It was a chip in right over a bunker, right over the green side bunker. Just rolled in. It was unbelievable. It was almost an impossible shot, and he chipped it in.
It might have been Memorial. I didn't watch much of the Memorial. It might have been that one.
See if I could
But
figure out where it was.
what what about you, Ty?
Scotty Sunday at the Players was pretty awesome. I mean, he shot like
That was a good
900.
day.
I mean, that was pretty sweet to watch. I mean,
That was a good day.
Sunday at the Masters is always. I mean, it's tough to top that, even if it's not a great tournament. Um,
He kind of
but
pulled away there. You knew he was winning after like 12. Like everyone kind of folded, and he had a 3-4 shot lead, and you knew it was there. Or at least I knew it was over.
but the U.S. Open, I mean, probably was the best tournament all year. I mean, Rory missing 2 3-footers and a 3-hole stretch, and Bryson missing 1. I mean, and then hitting that bunker shot. I mean, it's really tough to beat Sunday at the U.S. Open.
So much fun to watch.
Yeah, yeah, that was amazing.
That may have been
Yeah,
the best golf tournament I've ever seen.
It's up there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to put the U.S. Open this year as, in my eyes, I don't think it's really a question as to what the best golf tournament was and more electric moments that, have happened this year. I mean, as Tyler said, Masters is always one of those special events, no matter how it plays out. You know that the Masters weekend is, one of the ones that everyone looks forward to due to the history and the course itself. But yeah, I really think we need to diverge into the Champions League. I mean, that right there, what a year that was.
What a
I mean,
year.
that was some of the most exciting golf all year this year was on the Champions League.
Bernhard Longer,
So,
man.
Bernard, baby.
Absolute
you tore
Iceman.
it up this year. Tore it up this year. I think Longer is due for another great year on the tour.
Another big year.
Another great year under
PNC
Bernard this year.
championship.
If they let him play the 4 tees, I mean, yeah, he's gonna keep dominating.
Who are some of the new guys that are joining the
You guys got any sleepers for
sleepers for the
2025?
champions?
For the tour this year?
Oh, I thought we were talking about the
Sleep,
champions.
sleepers for the tour, probably at Luke Clanton, the amateur. I think he'll be joining the tour by the summer. I could see him winning an event
I just
by
need
the end of the
some,
year.
coming out parties. Anybody that you keep an eye on? That you're liking? Break out this year?
I don't know. I have to think about it for a second. Hey, you got someone in mind?
I got a name.
All right, who we got?
Michael Fjord Bjorsen.
Okay, yeah. Familiar with him.
Yep. Kid's going to be a stud.
What makes you
And,
say that, Tybo? Why are you thinking?
I mean, 18-year-old. He turned pro last year. He's from Massachusetts, I believe. He competed in a couple tournaments, and he played really well. He's just got a really bright future, and I think he's going to be a really good player on tour.
I got a question for you guys. Would you say is your player that you think's maybe coming off of a down year? You know his talent's there, his talent level's up there. Might have been going through a little bit of a rough stretch that you think this year could bounce back. I mean, not necessarily winning, every tournament, but who could bounce back?
So the exact same question Tyler just asked.
Kind of.
Oh, he said up and coming. No, he said up and coming.
I'm
Bounce,
sorry.
I'm
I'm
saying a
sorry.
guy coming off a
Bounce
down
back.
year.
I had to chirp
Bounce
you. I
back.
had to chirp you a little, Iceman.
Hey, it's a bounce back year, not an up and coming year.
Well,
not a guy who's up
that's
and coming.
different.
So
That's different.
it's a really interesting question too, because if you think about where was Scotty in 2021, 2022? He was
Nowhere.
without a win,
22,
right?
he broke out. But 21, he hadn't won yet.
He
Right.
was in contention a ton. He just couldn't win.
Right there with my man Sahith Tagala. You gotta think he's gonna get some big victories this year. Seriously, I say that, but honestly, look at Harbour
He's
Town.
very good.
Came in a close second behind Scotty to win. I think that's where Scotty chipped in, by the way, at Harbour Town. So that's what I
might
was
have been.
thinking. But yeah, he's my favorite. I think he's gonna have a banger year this year.
My bounce back is Tiger. Tiger played like ass last year. I think he'll be in contention. I think he will contend. I didn't pick him to win the Masters. I'm thinking top 10 Masters.
He's gonna be in contention to be first in line in the emergency room for a back.
No, sir. No, sir. He walked 54 holes at PNC. Looked like a champ. Should have won that thing. I think he will contend. not only that, but maybe another tournament or two.
I'll never knock Tiger. I'm only joking. I love the guy. I mean, he is my
You gotta
all-time
love Tiger.
favorite. But
You got to.
I think a guy to keep an eye out on is Willie Z.
Yeah.
I think
Zally
Willie
Torres?
Z. I think
Yeah.
Zalatoris. He didn't really have it. He kind of bursted onto the scene a couple years ago. I think he really kind of, people started realizing, his level of talent. I think, he didn't play his best golf last year, but I think really towards the end of the year, he was starting to play a little bit better. I think he's a guy that's going to kind of come back into form, kind of round back into form. I think the talent's there. And I think he's a guy to watch out for this year.
If his back can stay healthy, that's a good call. That's his main thing is being healthy, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well,
Hovland bounces back. He kind of struggled last year. He's
Hovland's a lot of fun to watch, definitely.
he is. Something's going on with him and his coach. I think him and his coach broke up.
I think Spieth has a bounce back year.
What, he wins the John Deere Classic?
Yeah, if he's lucky. I was thinking the PNC. Play with Charlie.
Charlie will win before he does again. Bold prediction.
All right, I'll bet you $1.
All right, deal. But I think that's mainly everything. There is the skins game is coming back next year. It's after day after Thanksgiving, I think. I wrote down a couple guys who I think would probably likely to play in that. There should be a foursome. I'm thinking it's going to be. No, I didn't have him. No, that would be hype. But I think it'll be like typical tour fanboys: Rory, Max, JT, and Xander is the foursome I think that'll be playing in that. Yeah, everybody gushes over Rory. Same with Max and JT.
Talk about our least favorite players on tour for a second.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
All right, who's yours, Parker? I know what it is.
Probably Rory, to be honest.
Okay, Zach.
Who's my least favorite on tour?
Least favorite player on tour.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't really have anyone I think that I hate.
That's such a good one in mind.
That's it. It's in my head. You might have to come back. You might have to think about that one.
Go ahead, Matt.
Patrick Reed.
Oh, that's an easy.
I fucking
hate
that guy.
I mean, one name, if I had to think about it, just because even off that first name, is Cantley. I mean, that guy has no emotion. He's dead inside. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The guy literally looks like he's just a walking zombie. There's no life between those eyes there. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
So,
I'm not
he's
a
a guy
Justin
that.
Thomas fan, man. I don't like Jason.
Me neither.
I feel like you turned your opinion around on him, Ty. I feel like you used to like him a lot, and
I did, but he's a little whiny. He's a whiny. He whines. He's not any good. He hasn't been good in 4 years, and I just don't like him.
He's a big complainer, and a lot of guys on tour say the same, right? Didn't you hear some insider info from somebody that was on the
sources to be unnamed, but.
I think he has a couple of close buddies like JT and Tiger, but most of the guys probably don't like him. He doesn't have a good rep, I don't think.
Yeah.
But he's also one of those guys that he's coming off of, not playing very good golf. But when you saw him at his peak, I mean, he was one of, if not, definitely a top 5 golfer at that time when he was, won the PGA. He was going through a stretch where he was playing elite golf. I think we all know he's got the talent to play elite golf. He's not in form, and he hasn't been in form.
Well, he actually played real good at the Hero a couple weeks ago. He did some speed training. I think he could be primed for I don't like to say it, but he could have a bounce-back year.
I've been hearing that for 3 years for him. He can't putt. He can't putt.
All right. Well, I think who do y'all think kind of would be some good names for the skins game? You like what I was saying? I said Rory, Max, JT, and Xander.
I think you load up skins with entertaining talent. I think that's what you do. I think you want the guys, you need those big names. You want the better players.
I think Wesley Bryan gets a chance.
Oh, I like that. Oh, that's a good one. I'd love to see that.
I mean, nowadays, with the Bryan bros, I mean, it shows you, too, with how social media and golf is, what it can do for you. You know what I mean? As those high-end players keep creating content, I think that's getting more people to watch.
This year was the Myrtle Beach Classic. What's next? What's going to be next? Where are the big names going to come out to next? All right, I guess that one didn't hit. All right, we'll move on. We will move on.
You guys hear those crickets?
We
It's a
will
glorified
move
KFT
on.
event. It's a glorified corn fairy.
Parker, scratch that part out of the video for me.
Oh, I ain't edited nothing. It's all stayed in,
Edit
baby.
that shit out, dude.
No. It's in there. But yeah, the entertainers. The problem is the tour doesn't have a whole lot of entertainers. Like Wesley, he's part-time tour, mainly on YouTube, and Bryson, he's on live. So I don't know that they don't have a heck of a lot of entertainers really.
They got Harry.
Hey, Joel Damon, maybe some people like that.
Hey, that was a good story. Kept his tour card.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Joel.
Cool. Well, that's 45 minutes. So appreciate y'all hanging out. Any other takes y'all wanted to fire out before we sign off or anything? No.
Alternate shot for some.
You broke up. Say it again.
Did you just have a stroke?
Where are we right now?
Who are you people?
We got a 2v2 alternate shot coming up.
Tyler, you couldn't find a better background to put
Okay.
on the fucking thing there other than a cheap plastic window blind and a purple room.
He's just getting ready for the Ravens' big win. You know what I mean? He's joined the bandwagon. So, I respect it.
Couldn't help myself, buddy.
What you talking about a 2v2? What you want to run that back in Sanibel again? Well, 2v2 alt shots all week.
Starting
Double or nothing.
We start right where we left off, baby. Right where we left off. It's
That's
carryover, you know?
That's right.
I love it.
I'm coming for
in.
blood this year, boys. I'm just letting you know. My swing, I fixed it. I'm not going to be flubbing any shots. I chipped a couple in last year. I don't know if you remember, but
I do want to get drinking challenge going.
That's got potential.
What does that entail again?
The wheel of drinking.
So what? Explain it. I don't think I watched the video you sent.
You get like a wheel that you spin. You get 5 different types of alcohol on there.
Fireball.
No, but you have 5 different types of alcohol on there. So one could be Fireball, one could be like a Jack and Coke, one can be like a beer, one can be whatever. The other 2 could be whatever we want. Whatever the thing spins on, we have to drink it on that hole.
Like entire drink, like an entire bloody or something on one hole?
We're not going to make it a bloody. It's going to be like a shot or like
a little shot. I got you.
Do you think we could squeeze in a Cosmopolitan? Or
sure, we could put a
on the wheel?
Cosmopolitan on the wheel. If you get to 5, it's a 4-man scramble. We get to 5 under, the challenge stops.
Okay.
I love that idea. That's a great idea.
You take the drink.
We'll put that on the list.
I wanna give a little quick shout out here to the shipyard down there. It's a quality spot. I want to give a shout out to my boy Wasserman. I hope I see you there this year. That's my guy. He's got Kornacki in a good little boxing match. We're setting it up. Wasserman versus Kornacki boxing match. It's going to be the biggest one of the year. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson ain't got nothing on this one. We're throwing hands between the two. Shout out to Wasserman. Shout out to the shipyard. Getting wrecked at the wreck, boys.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop recording. Appreciate y'all. Let's hang out for just a second.